Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Amid the rising number of UK variant cases, the health department says it cannot establish yet whether there is already community transmission in the country. To give us more details on this, we have JC Cosico. He's reporting live from Mandaluyong City. JC, can you tell us the latest?
Riza, during the CODE team visit in Davao City, Health Chief Francisco Duque III said they're still waiting on the full report on the new cases. Last night, the DOH reported 8 more patients were found to have been infected with the B117 variant. Infected patients now at 25. 3 of the new cases are from Bontoc Mountain Province, 2 from Trinidad Benguet, 2 returning overseas Filipinos, and 1 from Cebu. Duque meanwhile said there is no exact date yet as to when the 117,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines will arrive in the Philippines. Once become available, there will be simultaneous immunizations in 4 COVID-19 referral hospitals, namely PGH, East Avenue Medical Center, Lung Center of the Philippines, and Tala Hospital. Guidelines will also be released for medical frontliners who don't want to receive the jabs yet. Duque also underscored that LGUs must have a fallback list should people don't show up in their inoculation schedules to avoid wastage. In Davao City, 107,000 residents are targeted to receive COVID-19 shots. 2,000 individuals are eyed to be inoculated with the help of 160 local or medical health workers in its 20 inoculation centers. It is also looking to tap the parish of San Jose, the biggest church in the city, to serve as a vaccination center. Officials also inspected the city's cold storage facility at the Navotas Polytechnic College. 3 ultra-low freezers were bought for the storage of over 200,000 jabs of COVID-19 vaccines. City Health Director or Dr. Crisha Padolina said they will intensify their vaccination campaign to reduce vaccine hesitancy. Here's what she had to say.
The common question was, safe ho ba ang bakuna? Meron ho ba kami ina-expect na side effect? At kung meron, tolerable ho ba? We rank the choices of vaccine and the top 3 included Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca.
Riza, Navotas is among the LGUs who signed a tripartite deal with AstraZeneca for the procurement of COVID-19 jabs. It is also awaiting jabs from Moderna and the COVAX facility. Now, the LGU plans to conduct simulation activities to fine-tune its local immunization program. Back to you.
Thank you. That was JC Cosico reporting to us live from Mandaluyong City. Meanwhile, the Philippines will be among the first countries to receive COVID-19 vaccines through the COVAX facility. In a Twitter post, the British ambassador to the Philippines, Daniel Cruz, said the country is set to receive up to nearly 10 million doses, most of which are from British-Swedish firm AstraZeneca. Cruz says COVAX expects the COVID-19 vaccines to be available for delivery as early as this month. Now, aside from AstraZeneca, the country is also expecting doses from Pfizer through the COVAX facility. The United Kingdom has launched a trial that will mix 2 COVID-19 vaccines to make nationwide vaccination programs more flexible. But will this work on new variants as well? Let's listen in to this Bloomberg interview with Johns Hopkins University professor Jason Farley.
Certainly, the pressure in the EU has prompted, the conversations between Pfizer and AstraZeneca to consider combining. We already have some preliminary data, at least from here in the United States, on the combination. When the Pfizer vaccine was approved, for example, many of us who were in the AstraZeneca trial, including myself, were instructed that we could possibly be unblinded because of the lower, at that moment, signal of efficacy. And therefore, we were given the option of being unblinded and receiving the Pfizer vaccine, of which many healthcare workers who were on the front lines of COVID chose to do. Subsequently, we saw great data from Pfizer, and we now know that the efficacy of the vaccine is quite great for severe disease as well as hospitalization. So there probably wasn't a need to receive both. But there is a significant handful, at least in the United States, who've already received both vaccines as part of the trial. And so I would encourage the companies to look at those individuals individuals closely while they're starting a new trial of about 800 participants in the UK announced soon this week.
We also heard actually yesterday that the way that the UK is giving out the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is one dose ASAP and then you wait 10 to 12 weeks for the second dose, actually has an 82% efficacy rate, I believe. Are we going to see more countries do it? Could the US be looking at doing the same thing?
So right now, the signal from the Biden administration is that that will not be the case. We've heard repeatedly from Dr. Fauci, the most important thing was increased distribution, being able to get the doses in the sequence as prescribed. Importantly, we're concerned about particularly the variants and the pressure placed on the vaccine when an individual has some level of antibody, but not level of antibody that's protective. And so concerned just about the duration between dose 1 and dose 2, although certainly it will increase supply, that's important. Some vaccine is better than no vaccine at all. There's still the biologic plausibility that, having a little bit of antibody, then it being exposed to a variant might put pressure on that variant to further evolve.
And we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Senator Bongo is pushing to suspend the implementation of the child car seat law, saying that even President Duterte thinks it's untimely. Go, who is a former aide to the president, said current quarantine restrictions do not allow children to go outside their homes for the time being. He said that there is also a need for further information campaigns before fully implementing such law.
Nakausap ko rin po si Pangulong Duterte nung isang gabi. Siya po mismo, ayaw rin niyang i-implement ito. Sabi niya, not this time, hindi pa po napapanahon na i-implement yung batas na ito.
China warned against a U.S. warship sailing near contested islands in the South China Sea. This is the first of such encounter made public since the inauguration of President Joe Biden. Beijing's military said that USS John McCain broke into China's territorial waters without permission from the Chinese government. China's military added that the move seriously violated China's sovereignty and harmed regional peace. Washington responds saying such exercises are in line with international law and help defend the right of passage in the region. Now, here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Interior Department and the University of the Philippines have agreed to review their 1992 agreement. DILG spokesman Jonathan Malaya says both sides approved the creation of a technical working group which will review the provisions. They explained that some parts of the accord are no longer applicable, stressing the need to beef up security presence at campuses. Now, a group led by retired Associate Justice Antonio Carpio has raised before the Supreme Court the threats of NTF-ELCAC spokesperson Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade Jr. against a journalist. Carpio says Parlade's statements are clear threats that show the anti-terror law is vague and cast a wide net of possibilities. Recall that Parlade, though, through his social media posts, accused Inquirer.net reporter Tech Torres Tupas of serving as a propagandist for communists. And a panel led by the Justice Department has submitted its report on drug war operations that resulted in 6,000 deaths. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara says they made certain findings not so flattering against certain police officers. Now, according to Guevara, they will release the findings after further investigations in Visayas and Mindanao. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, in Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.